Chapter 3044. Phew, I finally tamed all of them. Somewhere on the surface of the Milky Way Sea, Wang Xian stood on the five elements grindstone and watched as the last wild beast was tamed. Looking at the time, it was almost time for the appointed date. Heart dear, how's the battle pet? Wang Xian smiled and asked me Xian dear, who was playing with the universe AI. Big brother Wang, it's done. As long as we confirm the location, we should be able to sell them all very quickly. The Mi Xian Lu looked over and said with a smile, "Alright, let's go." Wang Xian nodded his head. With a wave of his arm, two ships of the iceberg race appeared on the surface of the sea. He waved his arm and forcefully transformed the two ships into one. At the same time, he changed the appearance of the ship. Although some of the weapons on the ship were destroyed, he did not care. Two ships that were more than 1,000 meters long were transformed by him into ships that were more than 10,000 meters long. With a wave of his arm, he wrote the words "Battle Pet of the Immortal Palace" on the side of the ship. The reason why he did not use the name Dragon Palace Battle Pet was mainly due to the current situation of the Sky Dragon in the universe. Buzz! After placing the five elements grindstone under the ship, the entire ship sailed forward at a terrifying speed. Heart dear, change a little later. Wang Xian looked at the Mi Xian deer and reminded her. Alright brother Wang, what do you think? His body moved, and antlers appeared on top of his head. His appearance also changed. He was wearing a white robe with the words Immortal Palace written on it. Sure. Wang Xian nodded with a smile. He would have to sell many battle pets in the future, so he had to create a sense of mystery, in case some forces conspired against him. It would be troublesome if he sold too many battle pets that day, and caught the attention of some elementary races in the universe. He had to be prepared in advance. The ship sailed quickly, and did not encounter any special situations along the way. 10 hours later, they arrived at the Milky Way Sea in front of the silver-gazing continent. The Wangying continent was the largest continent next to the Milky Way. The entire continent was comparable to thousands of ordinary stars. On the Milky Way Sea in front of the silver-gazing continent, there were at least hundreds of thousands of ships of all kinds docked. Some of the ships contained an aura that caused one's heart to palpitate. Wang Xian stopped the boat on the sea ahead and looked at the Mi Xian deer. I'll inform the customers. The Mi Xian Lu took out the universe AI and immediately sent out information. Big brother Wang, we can just wait here, she said to Wang Xian. N. Wang Xian nodded and looked ahead with his yin-yang five elements dragon eyes. The heart deer came to the front of the deck and stood there quietly. So. Very soon, Wang Xian saw several figures flying towards him. Mi Xian Lu, who was standing on the deck, was elated when she saw people flying over. Moreover, the people leading the group seemed to possess extraordinary strength. This must be Miss Wang of the Immortal Palace's war pet. One by one, the figures flew over and looked at the ship that the Mi Xian deer was on. They were slightly surprised and asked, "That's right. Everyone, please wait for 5 minutes for the rest to arrive." Mi Xian Lu looked at the time and said faintly, "Miss Wang, do you really have an 8th Order God Emperor Realm battle pet here?" An old man on the left could not help but ask. The old man was dressed in black. His face was a little blurry, and no one could see his face clearly. He held a black walking stick in his hand and asked in a hoarse voice. "This must be an expert from the dense fog race. Since we have announced it on the universe AI, we are naturally not fooling around. We will not seek trouble for ourselves. Wait for 5 minutes, and everyone will see the war pet." Mi Xian Lu replied faintly. She possessed the strength of a 5th Order God Emperor, and had experience being hunted down. Hence, she was not afraid of an expert from a low-level race in the universe. Moreover, she trusted Wang Xian. "Oh, many people are here. Miss Wang, we've reserved your 10,000 red-winged fish." Soon, a few more figures flew over to this side. There were humans, demonic beasts, and some unique races in the universe. The one who had reserved the red-winged fish was a short old man, with a height of only 1 meter. Although the old man was small in size, he was holding a giant hammer that was at least 2 meters long. Seeing the arrival of the old man, many people were visibly fearful. There are 2 experts from low-level races in the universe. This Immortal Palace's way of selling their war pets is really strange. They even posted on the forum. If I had not seen the pictures and videos, I would not have believed it was real. Indeed, 8th Order God Emperor Realm war pets. Even low-level races in the universe don't have many war pets of this level. The 6-handed race does have a few powerful taming experts, but they rarely sell their tamed war pets. I have reserved a 6th Order God Emperor Realm war pet, and the price is very reasonable. Haha, I'm in luck this time. More and more people arrived. They were slightly surprised to see 2 experts from low-level races in the universe. With regards to this transaction, they felt a little more relaxed. After all, this was the first time they had seen such precious war pets being sold in such a casual manner. Alright, for those who are not here, we will take it that you have given up your right to purchase. Everyone follow me. When 5 minutes had passed, Mi Xi and Lu said to the crowd of customers, and led them to the back. At the back, a part of the ship had been specially modified. At this moment, many war pets were lying on it. All of them were Emperor Realm war pets. Among them, 3 were 8th Order God Emperor Realm war pets. Wang Xian had ordered them to shrink and stay there obediently. Everyone, welcome to the Immortal Palace's war pets. According to the reservation on the AI, you can take your war pets away, as long as you pay the divine stones. If you want to tame them, and take them away, you will have to pay more divine stones. After all, our war pets are priced lower than the market price. At this moment, Wang Xian walked out of the ship. At this moment his appearance had changed. There was a pair of dragon horns on his head, and his palms were covered with dragon scales. Even his face was covered with scales. A powerful aura was hidden in his body, ready to be released. But everyone could feel the aura contained in his body. Wang Xian's appearance was mainly to intimidate others, to prevent those with ill intentions. Moreover, Wang Xian had set the price of his war pets far lower than the market price. This was mainly to reduce the time needed to help customers tame their war pets. There were many beast tamers in the center of the universe, especially some powerful races. They would nurture their own powerful beast tamers. Wang Xian mainly wanted them to look for these beast tamers to help him tame his war pets. This would save him a lot of time. Everyone looked at Wang Xian, who had suddenly appeared, and their hearts skipped a beat. Chapter 3045. 3 8th Order God Emperor Realm Battle Pets. There really are 3 of them. Amazing! There are over 10,000 God Emperor Realm Battle Pets, and over 27th Order God Emperor Realm Battle Pets. I've reserved that battle pet. Ha. On the ship, everyone's face lit up when they saw over 10,000 battle pets. The eyes of the dense mist tribe elder and the dwarf elder flickered. This is only a portion of it. There are over 10,000 red-winged fish battle pets. They should have been reserved by this 1-foot race expert. Wang Xian said calmly as he looked at their shocked expressions. According to the reservation on the AI, everyone prepare your divine stones. If you want to tame them, let us know in advance. Mi Xi and Lu said to everyone. These are the divine stones for the 3 8th Order God Emperor Realm battle pets. Take a look. The elder from the dense mist tribe took out a spatial ring. With a wave of his arm, the ring floated in front of Wang Xian. Wang Xian's eyes flickered as he stared at the large number of divine stones in the ring. A smile appeared on his face. With a wave of his arm, 3 8th Order God Emperor Realm battle pets walked over slowly. Their ferocious aura caused fear to appear on the faces of the surrounding people. Reveal the lair. Wang Xian patted the head of one of the battle pets and said, Roar roar. The 3 battle pets let out a low growl. The shadow of a lair appeared behind him, representing a complete battle pet. Good. If your immortal palace still has more battle pets, our dense mist tribe will take them all. The elder from the dense mist tribe revealed a satisfied look as his eyes flickered. Our 1-foot race will take them too. The short elder with a giant hammer in his hand said. Everyone, in order not to offend the various races, our Immortal Palace's battle pets will only be sold on the AI. First come, first served. The next time we sell it, we will set it to be within the next 4 months. Wang Xian said calmly. The elders from the dense mist tribe in 1-foot race frowned. All right, everyone, take the divine stones for the battle pets, and leave as soon as possible, Wang Xian urged. I've reserved this. I've reserved that third-order God Emperor Realm battle pet. The elder in the middle said immediately. Soon, more than 20,000 battle pets were sold. Some people didn't show up, and were bought by others. Most of them did not ask Wang Xian to tame them. This was because Wang Xian's taming fee was very expensive. It would be much cheaper for them to look for other beast tamers. This was something that Wang Xian was happy to see. Hence, he did it on purpose. With the time he had to tame them a second time, he would be able to capture a lot of them in the Milky Way. All right, let's go. After selling all the battle pets, Wang Xian smiled at the Mixian deer. With a wave of his arm, the ship sailed towards the ocean. This ship looks ordinary, but its speed isn't any slower than a 9th-order God Emperor Realm expert. There might be something special about it. Watching the battle pet ship of the Immortal Palace leave, everyone's eyes flickered. They sold over 20,000 God Emperor Realm battle pets in one go. And the strongest among them was an 8th-order God Emperor Realm battle pet. This Immortal Palace's battle pets are not simple. Moreover, they will sell them again in 4 months' time. Who exactly are they? Could it be a big race from somewhere else? The old man from the dense fog race murmured. Everyone, don't be in such a hurry to leave. At this moment, a dignified voice rang out, and an imposing aura enveloped everyone. Huh. The old man from the dense fog race frowned, and looked at the old man from the 1-foot race. We'll split the battle pets in 4 months' time equally. How about that? The short old man smiled at the old man from the dense fog race and said, Sure. The old man from the dense fog race nodded and swept his gaze across the crowd. My lords, what are you trying to do? When the surrounding crowd saw this, their faces changed drastically as they exclaimed in horror. I'm a disciple of the water shadow race. A young man hurriedly said. Don't worry, we won't kill you. You just have to follow us, and we'll let you go after 4 months. If you don't cooperate, don't blame us for being rude. The old man from the dense fog race said coldly. The rest of the crowd looked embarrassed. Looking at the 2 old men from the beginner races of the universe, they felt helpless, and could only cooperate. Hee. The 2 old men from the 2 races chuckled. The next time the Immortal Palace sold battle pets, they would ask some of their clansmen to keep an eye on them. Basically, all the battle pets would belong to the 2 races. This was the law of the jungle in the universe. The strongest would rule. Wang Xian didn't know what was happening here. Even if he knew, he wouldn't care. It didn't matter who it was. Brother Wang, we've made a fortune. I've never seen so many divine stones. Mixian Lu handed the space rings that contained the divine stones to Wang Xian excitedly. These divine stones are still lacking. They're not enough for me to improve my strength. Wang Xian smiled. The resources were still lacking for him to improve his level. I believe we'll be able to earn more divine stones soon to improve your strength, Brother Wang. Mixian Lu said with a smile. Oh, how long more before Willow Deity Training Hall starts recruiting disciples? Wang Xian looked at her and asked. About 10 more months. Why, Brother Wang? Mixian Lu looked at him curiously. Let's see if you can enter Willow Deity Training Hall then, Wang Xian said. He was prepared to bring Mixian Lu to Willow Deity Training Hall and become a disciple there. Just the 3 treasures that the exalted Willow Deity had given him were worth a fortune. Moreover, it shouldn't be a problem for Mixian Lu to enter Willow Deity Training Hall if she could improve her bloodline during this period of time. Can I enter? Mixian Lu asked with surprise and trepidation. Don't worry. With me around, it shouldn't be a problem. Let's go back to Willow Deity Training Hall first. I need to look up some information. As Wang Xian spoke, he steered the ship forward at high speed. He kept the ship in the mother nest at a deserted place, and continued his journey on the 5 elements great grindstone. Wait for me at the periphery, said Wang Xian to the Mixian deer. After which, he immediately flew towards the center. He wanted to look up some information about Milky Way. That newcomer Wang Xian is here. When Wang Xian arrived at Willow Deity Training Hall, some people noticed his arrival. They looked over and whispered. Wang Xian didn't care about the gazes of others. He walked towards a slightly bigger wooden hut. That was the library of Willow Deity Training Hall. There were plenty of information in it. Many of the information was recorded by the disciples of Willow Deity Training Hall. Some were also kept by Willow Deity. Chapter 3046. It's that Wang Xian. When Wang Xian entered the library, there were more than 20 people in the library. Sensing his arrival, some of them turned around and whispered to him. Everyone was dissatisfied with the fact that Wang Xian had killed the disciples of Willow Deity Dojo. Wang Xian took a glance at the library and ignored them. He scanned through the books one by one. This time, he wanted to find some information about the Milky Way's aqua race. It would be best if he could find a 9th Order God Emperor realm, or a place with a large number of 7th or 8th Order God Emperor realm aquatic creatures. Based on his fishing speed over the past 2 months, it would probably take him 5 or 6 times to increase his strength. Milky Way Icebound Mountain, Milky Way Dark Domain, on a lone island in the Milky Way Sea, Milky Way Volcano region. The information in the library was abundant. Soon, Wang Xian obtained the information one by one. There was a lot of information here that couldn't be obtained from the Universe AI. The information that could be obtained from the Universe AI was the most basic information. The Universe AI didn't have much information on the Milky Way Icebound Mountain. And here, there was a very detailed introduction to the Milky Way Icebound Mountain, including the dire beasts that lived in it and the strength of the dire beasts. In the Icebound Mountain, there was a huge desolate beast race, the Icebound Bear. The frozen bear's strength ranged from 5th Order God Emperor realm to peak God Emperor realm. As for the Milky Way Black Domain, there were also many powerful aquatic desolate beasts. The various detailed introductions made Wang Xian squint his eyes. However, after reading a few documents in succession, he became somewhat hesitant. Be it the Icebound Mountain or the Black Domain, there were peak stage God Emperor desolate beasts. A peak Emperor God could already pose a threat to Wang Xian. Most importantly, if Wang Xian were to kill a 9th Order God Emperor realm wild beast, it might cause a huge commotion. It would be dangerous then. An isolated island on the sea, a volcanic region. Wang Xian frowned as he looked at the other 2 sets of information. Without the strength of a peak Emperor God, it is extremely dangerous to head to these few places. Wang Xian murmured. The stronger the desolate beasts in the water, the more territorial they were. They would gather a group of subordinates. Very few work alone. This is going to be difficult. Wang Xian shook his head. Junior brother Wang Xian, can we talk? Just as he was looking through the information, a voice sounded beside him. Wang Xian turned around and looked to the side. An old man stood beside him. He was very familiar with this old man. He was the gentleman's senior brother, who had treated him on the first day he arrived. Senior brother gentleman, what can I do for you? Wang Xian had a good impression of senior brother gentleman. He smiled and nodded his head. The 2 of them walked to the side and sat down. Junior brother Wang Xian must have passed the test of Willow Deity Reverend to be able to enter the Willow Deity Dojo. There's nothing wrong with your temperament. Junior brother Wang Xian, it's best that you don't kill each other. Senior brother gentleman said sincerely and earnestly. I know. As long as no one provokes me, I won't lay my hands on others. This is my principle. Wang Xian said with a smile. However, it's best if we don't get into a fight over some small matters between fellow disciples. Brother gentleman said with a smile. Senior brother gentleman, I don't agree with this. Others bully me and snatch my things. I naturally have to retaliate and kill if I can. When 2 races are at war and billions of people are involved, are both races the bad guys? There are no bad guys, no right or wrong. War is war. Are you going to let your opponent live? Wang Xian said plainly. Forgive and forget whenever possible. Senior brother gentleman paused and shook his head. Senior brother gentleman is right. Forgive and forget whenever possible. If the other party didn't have the intention to kill me, I wouldn't have killed them all mercilessly. Wang Xian nodded his head. I can enter the Willow Deity Dojo and pass the test of Willow Deity Reverend. This proves that I'm not wrong. Senior brother gentleman, I still have some matters to attend to. If senior brother gentleman needs any help, I won't decline. He stood up and spoke politely to senior brother gentleman before turning to leave. Looking at Wang Xian's back, senior brother gentleman shook his head and pondered. Senior brother gentleman, what did Wang Xian say? Seeing Wang Xian leave, a few middle-aged men walked over and asked curiously. This is his style of doing things. Senior brother gentleman shook his head and said with slight disagreement. Style of doing things? The group of middle-aged men frowned. This senior brother gentleman is a nice guy. He's a little too nice. Wang Xian thought to himself as he walked out of the library. However, it was also very comfortable to interact with such a person. He didn't have to worry about being schemed against. This was probably the reason why senior brother gentleman had a higher reputation in the Willow Deity Dojo. Let's continue fishing. Wang Xian didn't get any useful information from the library. Hence, he flew out immediately. All he could do was continue fishing aimlessly in the Milky Way. Although the speed of improvement would be much slower, the resources he had obtained would be sufficient for him to improve his strength within a year. Wang Xian has left. He's flying towards the Milky Way with a girl. Inform senior brother Bing Ling, and the rest immediately. Just as Wang Xian was flying towards the Milky Way, two young men and a middle-aged man at a corner of the Willow Deity Dojo whispered to Wang Xian through telepathy. Should we follow him? A youth took out the universe smart brain and sent the message over. Wang Xian is very strong. We aren't his match. We will be discovered if we follow him. It's not worth the risk. The middle-aged man in the middle shook his head slightly. He was hesitant as he looked at the rapidly departing figure. Let's go and see which direction he's heading in. We just have to inform senior brother Bing Ling, and the rest. By then the Ice Mountain race will eliminate this arrogant guy. Tisk, how can he be so cruel to his fellow disciples? Such a scourge should be eliminated as soon as possible. The three of them spoke coldly as they chased after Wang Xian in a flash. They knew that Wang Xian's strength wasn't as simple as they had imagined. Hence, they didn't intend to keep following him. They just had to determine the direction he was heading in. The rest would be left to senior brother Bing Ling Hong to, and the others to handle. Where is he? Why did he disappear so quickly? When the three of them flew out of the Willow Deity Dojo, they realized that the figure in front of them had disappeared. They frowned slightly. Isn't this guy too fast? What's his strength? The middle-aged man in the middle frowned and said, Are you guys following me? Chapter 3047. What? When they heard the voice coming from behind, the three of them narrowed their eyes and quickly turned around. Looking at Wang Xian, who was only 50 kilometers behind them, their faces changed drastically. Junior brother Wang Xian, of course we are not following you. The middle-aged man in the middle squeezed out a smile as he spoke. He looked at Wang Xian with trepidation. Oh, is that so? But why did I hear you guys looking for me? Wang Xian raised an eyebrow and looked at them expressionlessly. Junior brother Wang Xian, we are just curious. We don't have any other intentions. One of the young men quickly said. You guys want me to die? Wang Xian looked at them with a mocking look on his face. No, how is that possible? We are from the same sect. Why would we want you to die? The three of them shook their heads. Junior brother, is that something you can call me? Wang Xian's eyes were filled with killing intent as he disappeared. Not good, he wants to kill us. The middle-aged man in the middle roared, and a willow leaf appeared in his hand. Puffed! A piercing sound came from the side, and he felt the threat of death. A green barrier appeared around him, blocking the attack that was powerful enough to kill him. Puffed! But at this time, a piercing sound came from the other side. He widened his eyes, and felt the vitality of his two junior brothers disappearing rapidly. Buzz! In the next moment his figure disappeared. You're courting death. Wang Xian glanced at the fleeing middle-aged man, and the two corpses beside him. These two were merely First-Order God Emperor and Second-Order God Emperor, yet they dared to target him. Clearly they were courting death. The two of them did not even have the time to take out the returning leaf. They were too close. They could not even see Wang Xian's attack. Only the Sixth Order God Emperor Realm middle-aged man managed to react in time, and his life was saved by returning leaf. But that was all. Without the returning leaf the next time, he would still die. Wang Xian, how dare you kill a fellow disciple here? You will die a horrible death. At this time, an infuriated voice rang in the sky above Willow Deity Dojo. The sudden roar of anger and fear shocked everyone in Willow Deity Dojo. What happened? What's going on? Wang Xian? Kill a fellow disciple? Who is feeling indignant for Bing Ling Shan and the others? Within the Willow Deity Dojo, the disciples were slightly shocked. They immediately flew into the sky and looked toward the source of the sound. Seeing the middle-aged man hovering there, they were slightly surprised and flew over curiously. Die a horrible death? You're courting death by following me. This time, the fallen leaf homeward path saved your life. I want to see who will save you next time. Upon hearing the middle-aged man's roar, Wang Xian stared at him coldly. Feeling his gaze, the middle-aged man felt a chill in his heart, and his forehead was filled with cold sweat. The other party had the strength to kill him in an instant. This time, he was able to survive completely because of the venerable Willow Deity's falling leaf path. Next time he wouldn't be so lucky. He swallowed his saliva and didn't dare to be arrogant anymore. He was really afraid that Wang Xian would target him. Wang Xian's fearlessness struck fear into the middle-aged man's heart. He actually dared to attack them at the entrance of Willow Deity Dojo, and even killed 2 of his junior brothers. This was insane. Junior brother Zhuge? What happened? In the sky above Willow Deity Dojo, the disciples flew to the side of the middle-aged man and asked with a frown. Senior brother gentleman also flew over with a frown and looked at Wang Xian in front of him. Senior brother Yuetian, that Wang Xian. Wang Xian just killed junior brother Sanshui and junior brother Qinghe. He attacked us directly. I reacted quickly and escaped with my life by using the fallen leaf path. However, Sanshui and junior brother Qinghe are all dead. Senior brother Yuetian, you have to seek justice for your 2 junior brothers. The middle-aged man clenched his fists tightly and said in horror. What? Sanshui and junior brother Qinghe were killed by Wang Xian? He killed 2 more junior brothers? He attacked you directly at the entrance of Willow Deity Dojo, and even killed 2 of them? This is too unscrupulous. What is he trying to do? In just a few months, he has killed 5 disciples of Willow Deity Dojo. Is he here to kill our disciples on purpose? Furious voices came from the disciples of Willow Deity Dojo. A few old men also frowned and looked a little terrible. If you want to kill me and have ulterior motives, you should be prepared to die. It's the same for everyone. Wang Xian heard the voices of Willow Deity Dojo and warned coldly. After he finished speaking, he moved and dived into the sea below. He left with the heart deer on the 5 elements grindstone. Arrogant, simply too arrogant. He directly killed a fellow disciple in front of the Willow Deity Taoist grounds. In just a few short months, 5 disciples died by his hands. How did such a cruel person enter our Willow Deity Taoist grounds? A middle-aged man shouted angrily. Sai, why did you follow junior brother Wang Xian? Senior brother gentleman shook his head and looked at the middle-aged man helplessly. Senior brother gentleman, even if you followed him, you didn't have to kill 2 junior brothers directly, right? A woman asked with a bitter expression. Junior brother Wang Xian's Dao is different from ours. He is decisive in killing. If you have no enmity with junior brother Wang Xian, don't harbor any ill intentions towards him. Otherwise he won't have any qualms. Senior brother gentleman reminded helplessly. Does he really think that he can kill whoever he wants? His strength is at most at the 9th Order God Emperor realm. With such strength, he doesn't have the qualifications to be unbridled. An old man said coldly, I wonder how this guy entered Willow Deity Dojo. We should report this to Venerable Willow Deity and chase him out. A middle-aged man said solemnly. The rest shook their heads when they heard his words. Which one of them had seen Venerable Willow Deity in person? Not a single one. Venerable Willow Deity didn't care about these matters. Zhuge, this matter is because of Bing Ling Hongtu and the rest. You should let Bing Ling Hongtu and the Ice Mountain tribe take action. It shouldn't be a problem for them to eliminate Wang Xian. Someone suggested. Some people took a look but didn't participate. They left immediately. Brother Wang, those three fellows are really annoying. How dare they follow us? One look, and you can tell that they are up to no good. Isn't Willow Deity Dojo supposed to test one's temperament? How can people like them enter Willow Deity Dojo? At the same time, the heart deer said angrily on the surface of the Milky Way. Following a person was a huge taboo. If they were killed, they would be courting death. It's hard to predict a person's heart. Venerable Willow Deity can't always guarantee that a person's heart won't change. Moreover, when they passed the test, their temperament might have been pretty good. Wang Xian smiled faintly and didn't mind. Chapter 3048. Unscrupulous 3-inch what? San Shuiqing and junior brother were killed by Wang Xian at the site of Willow Deity Training Ground. Senior brother Zhuge. We also wanted to help junior brother Bing Ling and Hong to track Wang Xian. However, we did not expect him to be so unscrupulous. Junior brother, you guys from the Ice Mountain tribe have to avenge your two junior brothers. Brother Zhuge, don't worry. I will report this to my clan immediately. We the Iceberg clan will never let him go. Bing Ling, Hong Tu, and the others came to the Willow Deity Dojo after receiving the news. When they received Zhu Ji's report, their expressions were extremely ugly. San Shuiqing had a good relationship with them. Otherwise, they wouldn't be willing to help report Wang Xian's situation. However, now that they had been killed, who would dare to get close to them in the future? Wang Xian had to be killed. Waves of killing intent burst out from their bodies as they clenched their fists tightly. Let's go to race. Bing Ling Hong Tu and the others flew towards the Ice Mountain tribe with gloomy expressions. On the surface of the Milky Way, Wang Xian continued fishing. This time they flew for 10 hours. In the vast Milky Way, there were no longer any traces of humans. Wang Xian was extremely satisfied with his first attempt, as he managed to catch 2 8th-order God Emperor Realm wild beasts. Head to the surroundings immediately, and hide yourself. After releasing over 100 Emperor God level battle pets into the Milky Way, Wang Xian issued a command to them. Brother Wang, why did you send them into the Milky Way? Mei Xi and Lu asked curiously from the side. Watch the surroundings. I've killed a group of disciples from the Iceberg race, especially 3 disciples from the Willow Deity Dojo. They won't let this go easily, hee. Wang Xian said with a faint smile. Just now, he saw Willow Deity Dojo's Icingling Hong to clamoring in the group chat, saying that anyone who killed a disciple of the Ice Mountain race would have to pay the price. He said he wanted to destroy him. When he saw this message, he could guess that the Iceberg race was going to deal with him. The Ice Mountain race was a domain-level race, and was not weak among domain-level races. According to the universe artificial intelligence, the Ice Mountain race had 7 peak God Emperor experts. He did not know exactly how many there were. However, this force far surpassed all the forces around the ruins of the Emohan clan. Therefore, Wang Xian had to be fully prepared. With their strength, they definitely had a way to track him down. Su Ping ordered over 100 battle pets to spread out in an area to act as scouts. They would report to him as soon as they found traces of the Iceberg race. After setting up the alert, Wang Xian continued fishing. Master Yu, have you locked onto that guy? At the same time, somewhere in the Milky Way, 6 battleships were traveling on the surface of the sea. Every battleship was 10,000 meters long and contained a power that made one's heart palpitate. Above the Milky Way, it did not mean that the bigger a battleship was, the stronger it was. However, any battleship that dared to venture deep into the Milky Way definitely had a defensive power, no lower than an 8th-order God Emperor realm. On one of the warships in the center, an old man holding a huge ice sword looked at the old man beside him and asked in a deep voice. The items you gave me contain too little aura. I can only search in a general direction. Master Yu was holding a book. The book was glowing, and there were red and black dots on it. Go to this area and search for him. Master Yu pointed at an area and said, All right, after we kill that kid, our Iceberg race will definitely reward Master Yu handsomely. The old man holding the huge ice sword promised. Master Yu nodded. Surround him in this area. We must eliminate that brat. The old man holding the huge ice sword waved his arm, and an area appeared, which was then transmitted to the 5 surrounding battleships. Yes, it's a guardian. Soon voices could be heard. How dare he kill the disciples of our Willow Deity Dojo? He must be courting death. The eyes of the guardian with the huge sword were filled with killing intent. 3 disciples of Willow Deity Dojo were killed. This meant that the iceberg race would lose 3 experts. This was only the second reason. 10 days ago, they received news from the disciples of Willow Deity Dojo that 2 of their disciples, who were on good terms with them, were killed because they helped to track the kid. This was a formless blow to the Ice Mountain race. Their Ice Mountain race possessed their current strength and had quite a number of peak Emperor God experts. There was a crucial point. 1/3 of the peak combat power of their race came from Willow Deity Dojo. Disciples who entered Willow Deity Dojo and reached the 8th Order God Emperor realm within the time limit set by Venerable Willow were considered trash. It was normal for them to reach the 9th Order, and there were quite a number of peak God Emperors. With the death of their disciples and the death of the people who helped them, who would agree to recruit disciples from Willow Deity Dojo in the future. Hence, they had to kill Wuxia to let everyone know that the iceberg race wasn't to be trifled with. Anyone who dared to kill their disciples would have to pay the price with their lives. Rebuild their prestige. The 6 battleships sped towards the sea region in front of them and spread out, forming an encirclement. As they did not have any personal belongings of Wuxia, they could only use the soil that he had stepped on to lock onto him. Now they could only lock onto a rough area. However, this was enough for the iceberg race. This time, they had sent out a peak God Emperor Realm Protector and 12 9th Order God Emperor Realm Elders, determined to annihilate Huang Xiaolong. Something's up. Within the boundless Milky Way, Wuxia, who was taming the wild beasts, raised an eyebrow. A battle pet sent out a signal. This was a warning signal. With a wave of his arm, he kept all the wild beasts on the 5 elements great grindstone back into the mother nest. He narrowed his eyes and scanned the surroundings. Brother Wang, what's wrong? Mi Xi and Lu stood up immediately and looked at the cautious Wuxia. A few battleships are coming over. I'm not sure if they are from the iceberg race. Wuxia said. The 5 elements great grindstone dived towards the bottom of the sea. He only stopped after diving nearly 1 billion kilometers into the sea. He raised his head and looked up with his dragon eyes. Master Yu, there's no one in the surrounding sea region. At this time, on a battleship above the Milky Way, the giant sword guardian of the iceberg race scanned the surroundings and frowned. Walala. Master Yu's eyes flickered. He injected energy into the book in his hand, and the pages flipped continuously. Found him. He's in the Milky Way, about 1 billion kilometers away from us. Before long, Master Yu's eyes lit up and he said with certainty. Chapter 3049. Under the Milky Way? Let's go and kill him. The giant sword protector of the iceberg race stood on the deck of the battleship and stared at the Milky Way as he ordered the elders around him. Their figures moved, and they directly flew down to where they were. Master Yu followed closely as he read the information in the book. Surround him and don't let him escape. 12 9th Order God Emperors and 1 peak God Emperor stared coldly at the Milky Way as they flew towards the Milky Way. At the same time, the person below the Milky Way frowned as he stared at the Milky Way with his dragon eyes. With the vision of his dragon eyes and the enhancement of his vision in the water, Wuxia's vision in the ocean was not affected at all. Even the foresight of a peak stage God Emperor might not be as good as his. Seeing the other party flying towards him, Wuxia knew that the other party already knew his position. Let's go. He frowned as he kept the heart-crushed deer into the mother nest and hid in another direction. Like a dragon swimming in the sea, Wuxia's speed was extremely fast. He's escaping in that direction. At this time, Master Yu, who was beside the giant sword protector of the iceberg race, saw the target change direction on the book. He's very fast. Following which, he frowned when he saw the target's speed on the book. Chase! The giant sword protector bellowed as he brought Master Yu to the maximum speed. However, they were in the Milky Way, which was a distance of nearly 1 billion kilometers. It was wishful thinking for them to catch up to Wang Xian. Wang Xian was in the Milky Way, flying towards a direction at high speed. Damn it, he's so fast! The giant sword protector, who was chasing after Wang Xian for 10 minutes, was embarrassed when he still couldn't see the figure in front of him. However, the good thing was that he could sense some aura. Ice protector, his speed isn't any slower than yours. Master Yu looked at the target's speed on the book with a solemn face. Moreover, we might encounter danger if we travel so recklessly in the Milky Way. Continue the chase. We, the ice protector, will not rest until we kill him. The giant sword protector bellowed with murderous intent. He swung his arm, and the giant sword in his hand slashed behind him. A huge repulsive force caused his speed to reach a terrifying level. I saw it. At this moment, he saw a silhouette rapidly fleeing in front of him. His eyes narrowed, filled with killing intent. Wang Xian also sensed the figure chasing after him. He frowned and increased his speed abruptly. It's picking up speed again, damn it. The giant sword protector's face was incomparably gloomy as he continued his pursuit. Protector Bing Ling, are we going to keep chasing? With his speed, it will be very difficult to catch up to him. Furthermore, he might encounter powerful desolate beasts. Master Yu did not want to take the risk. Chase after him. With him at the front, even if he is attacked, he will be the first to be attacked. If we chase after him from behind, the danger is very low. Don't worry, Grandmaster Yu, we won't be in danger. The giant sword protector said with a sullen face. Alright then. Master Yu thought for a moment and nodded. He wants to fly towards the Willow Deity Dojo. You want to escape to the Willow Deity Dojo? In your dreams. The giant sword protector immediately changed his direction and headed to the side to intercept them. With Master Yu locking onto him, he was not afraid of losing him. 5 minutes later, Wang Xian's expression changed when he saw the experts from the icicle race. I've been locked onto. Wang Xian looked at the two figures behind him with a cold expression. There must be a sorcerer who had locked onto him. Let's see who's faster. Wang Xian's eyes were cold. He pushed his speed to the limit and flew in another direction. TSK. As long as he doesn't enter the Willow Deity Dojo, he will have to pay the price. Arrange for people to guard the surroundings of the Willow Deity Dojo immediately. The giant sword protector's face was sullen. He knew it would be difficult to kill the other party this time. However, as long as he could force the other party back to his own holy kingdom, or force him to use the return of the fallen leaves, he would succeed. They would be able to annihilate him the next time around. Needless to say, it would be very troublesome to kill a disciple of the Willow Deity Dojo. Should I keep chasing? Wang Xian frowned as he sensed the figures behind him. Flapping his unbeginning sacred wings, he continued to fly forward. His dragon eyes scanned the area ahead with vigilance. He encountered many god emperor-level marine animals along the way. However, at this point in time, he had no time to hunt these marine animals. After flying for more than 5 hours, Wang Xian had no idea where he was. The aura behind him was still chasing him. Still chasing? Wang Xian was a little embarrassed. If the pursuit continued, he wouldn't be able to shake it off. Unless Wang Xian could return to the Dragon Palace instantly. However, the Dragon Palace was too far away. I can't waste any more time. Even if Enlai sends me here, it's better than being chased. Moreover, I still have this. Wang Xian murmured. A piece of Return of the Fallen Leaves appeared in his palm. A murderous intent surged in his heart. After shaking them off this time, he would make the iceberg race pay the price. He had obtained the Return of the Fallen Leaves from the few people he killed. Currently, he had 2 pieces in his hands. Swoosh. Oh no. At this moment, Wang Xian sensed a horrifying crisis approaching him. His expression changed as he looked to the side immediately. A wild beast with a sharp head and a slender body was attacking him. The bizarre attack and horrifying speed made Wang Xian's expression change. Wang. At this moment, he crushed the Return of the Fallen Leaves without any hesitation. His figure disappeared in an instant. The wild beast that was hiding in the surroundings saw Wang Xian disappear. It shook its body and let out a low growl of dissatisfaction. That guy disappeared. Master Yu, who was behind, looked at the information in the book and said immediately, "A peak god emperor level wild beast appeared ahead. That guy must have been attacked." Hence, he used the return of the fallen leaves to escape instantly. The guardian with the giant sword revealed an excited and hideous look. "Let's go back. We have people monitoring Willow Deity Dojo." The guardian with the giant sword revealed a smile and said immediately. At the same time, Wang Xian's figure gradually solidified in Willow Deity Dojo. He looked a little embarrassed. "Ha ha ha, Wang Xian, let me tell you. This is just the beginning. The revenge of the iceberg race has just begun. It won't be long before we take your head." Suddenly, a sinister laughter was heard from the side. Chapter 30-50. An arrogant and sinister voice rang in Wang Xian's ears. Wang Xian looked to the side and saw two middle-aged men from the iceberg race staring at him coldly. The killing intent in their eyes was unconcealed. Looking at them, Wang Xian squinted his eyes. He didn't pay much attention to them and headed straight to his house. Let's see where he can run to now. Haha. The experts from our iceberg race are monitoring this place. As long as he goes out, we can kill him. Bingling Hongtu and the rest looked at Wang Xian with excitement and malevolence. The experts from their race had already made their move. Killing Wang Xian would be a piece of cake. When a powerful race was on the move, one would feel how terrifying they were. These races really can't be underestimated. Wang Xian returned to his house and frowned. Killing intent flickered in his eyes. In order to obtain a batch of red-winged fishes, those fellows from the iceberg race attacked him first and released the confinement circle. Clearly they wanted to kill him. Facing such a situation, Wang Xian naturally had to retaliate. Now that he was locked on by the iceberg race, everything would be troublesome. This would greatly affect his hunting of wild beasts. Moreover, there would definitely be people monitoring the surroundings of Willow Deity Dojo. Once he went out, he would definitely be in danger. Now I have to conceal my aura so that the sorcerers can't lock onto me. Secondly, I have to get out of here. Wang Xian murmured. He took out the Universe AI and contacted the Heaven Array to inquire about the situation. Oh, soon a message came from the Heaven Array. Wang Xian raised his eyebrows when he saw the message. During his absence, the Dragon Palace had also gathered resources to upgrade the Heaven Array to the 9th Order God Emperor realm. Now he had the method to lock on to a sorcerer's aura completely. Seems like I'll have to ask Enlai to come over. Wang Xian murmured. He gave some instructions through the Universe AI and immediately set up an altar in the middle of his house. Wang. Soon, Enlai's figure came out from the altar. Dragon King, what is this place? Enlai looked around curiously and asked. A dojo. Have you brought the things that the Heaven Array gave you? Wang Xian said. Dragon King, these are the things that the Heaven Array asked me to give you. Enlai immediately took out a few flags and stuck them on his body to conceal his aura. With the flag planted in the ground, 9th Order God Emperor Realm Magi would have a hard time locking onto him. Even Peak God Emperor Realm Magi would need to spend a long time to lock onto his aura. Enlai, this is the star map of this area. Go here and send me here. I'll send you the information. Wang Xian switched on the Universe AI, marked a location, and said to Enlai. Yes, Dragon King. Leave it to me. Enlai nodded. He opened his Universe AI and disappeared. Since you want to kill me, don't blame me. Wang Xian's eyes flickered with cold murderous intent. Enlai disappeared. Even a Universe Venerable would find it hard to understand his strangeness. Time ticked by. After an hour, he appeared before Wang Xian. Dragon King, let's go. Wang Xian nodded his head and planted the flag. In the next moment, they arrived at an extremely cold location. At the edge of the Milky Way, in a corner of the Milky Way, there was a huge iceberg. There was also a frozen continent. The land floated above the Milky Way. When by Shu Barth's entire continent was silvery white, and there were many humans on it. There were also many humans living on the huge icebergs beside the continent. There were hundreds of icebergs around the continent, and each iceberg was comparable to a huge star. This was the lair of the iceberg race. Dragon Palace, below us is the land of the iceberg race. Do you need my help? And Lai pointed below and asked Wang Xian. No need. You can go back first. Wang Xian squinted his eyes. Alright, Dragon King. I'll go back now. Hee, I've killed many people with Orochi, and obtained a lot of resources, he said with a smile before disappearing. Wang Xian looked at the frozen continent and icebergs below. He transformed and flew over. He landed on the frozen continent and scanned the surroundings. On the frozen continent, all the buildings were made of ice. Some of the ice contained a chilling intent. Clearly it wasn't ordinary ice. Wang Xian's eyes fell on a slightly luxurious building. He could sense that there were God Emperor realm experts inside. His body flickered and he entered. In the basement of the building, an old man was sitting inside, looking at the information on the universe intelligence computer. Soul assimilation. The old man didn't sense Wang Xian's arrival. Even with his third-order God Emperor strength, he didn't notice Wang Xian's arrival. Wang. The old man's eyes were dull as he stared at Wang Xian blankly. Waves of information entered Wang Xian's mind. Frozen Legion? Ice Soldier Legion? Wang Xian obtained a piece of information from the old man. The Frozen Legion was one of the strongest legions of the iceberg race. In the universe, every race had their own legions, big and small, and each of them had their own secret legions. The more trump cards a race had, the more things they hid, and the safer they would be. When all of a race's trump cards were exposed, that was when they were in danger. The Frozen Legion wasn't one of the trump cards of the iceberg race. It was just an ordinary legion. However, the Ice Soldier Legion was one of the hidden trump cards of the iceberg race. A power hidden in the dark. The old man used to be a member of the Frozen Legion, and his son was a member of the Ice Soldier Legion. He had a rough idea of where the Ice Soldier Legion was located. I'll make my move after obtaining more information. As Wang Xian spoke, he concealed himself and flew towards the outside. He wasn't in a hurry. Since he had decided to make his move, he would give the other party a painful blow. In the next few days, Wang Xian had been searching for information in the hundreds of icebergs around the frozen continent. Half a month later, his understanding of the iceberg race had reached a terrifying level. He even obtained a list of the Ice Soldier Legion's members, and the location of the majority of the iceberg race's experts. If this information was leaked out, it would cause the iceberg race to boil with fear. There are only 5,000 Ice Soldier Legion, 10 Ninth Order God Emperor Realm experts, and the rest are all 4th Order God Emperor Realm and above. There's also the Frozen Legion with over 10,000 God Emperor Realm experts. Wang Xian sat in a restaurant of the iceberg race, thinking about his next move. Tomorrow is the time to act. A faint smile appeared on his face according to the information he obtained. Since the iceberg race wanted to kill, he wanted to see who would be the one killing who. Chapter 3051. The Ice Soldier Corps was one of the 3 biggest secret corps of the iceberg race. It was also the only corps hidden on the frozen continent. For the iceberg race, the people who lived on the frozen continent were generally ordinary people, while the powerhouses of the iceberg race lived on the surrounding icebergs. As the secret core of the iceberg race, they were hidden in a small town on the frozen continent. There were hundreds of thousands of residents in the town, and they lived like ordinary people. Each of them used an extremely special method to conceal their strength. According to the news, there are only 2 Ninth Order God Emperor Realm experts in the town today. The rest have left for the core of the iceberg race. There's a teleportation array in that room. If anything happens, the experts of the iceberg race can teleport over instantly. There was no day or night on the frozen continent. However, the iceberg race rotated on a meteorite, causing day and night to alternate. When night fell, the town wasn't very lively. Most people stayed in their rooms. Wang Xian leaned against a wall and mumbled to himself as he looked at the surrounding buildings. A Ninth Order God Emperor is in the room beside the teleportation array. I'm going to kill him in an instant. His dragon eyes scanned the area as he slowly entered the ice wall. Wang Xian had 8 attributes now. He could pass through objects of 8 attributes. The ice wall naturally couldn't stop him. The process was smooth. As the secret core of the iceberg race, they didn't set up any powerful arrays or other defensive measures. Once they were set up, people would definitely notice something was wrong and start to suspect them. As a secret core, it was necessary to keep everyone in the dark. Even Wang Xian only found out about it from the son of an elder of the iceberg race. For such a core figure to know about this place, the number of people in the iceberg race who knew about the hiding place of the ice soldier core was probably less than a few hundred. Attack. When Wang Xian passed through the ice wall, he sensed a figure only 5,000 meters away from him. At such a distance, Wang Xian pushed his speed to the limit. Wang. The moment he rushed over, the old man, who was sitting cross-legged in the room, frowned. The praying mat he was sitting on shone brightly. Die. Wang Xian's expression changed when he saw the praying mat below him, turning into a layer of ice to protect the old man. World Breaker. Dragon Eyes 8 Desolation. 5 Elements Dragon Claw. Looking at the old man protected by the layer of ice, he had a bad feeling. He clenched his teeth and roared softly. In an instant, Wang Xian unleashed all his supernatural powers. Ka. The break world landed on the layer of ice, and cracks appeared on it. The chains of the dragon eyes locked to 8 desolates slammed heavily against it, and the cracks grew larger and larger. When Wang Xian's dragon claws landed on it, many of the dragon scales crumbled instantly. However, at this point, he could only give it his all. If he couldn't kill this person, everything would be in vain. A large amount of blood flowed out of the dragon's claw, and it barely managed to enter. He gritted his teeth and used all his strength to attack the old man inside. Who are you? Only then did the old man react. He looked at the dragon claw right before him and roared sternly. Layers of frost were sent towards Wang Xian's dragon claw. Bam! Wang Xian felt immense pain from his dragon claw. He clenched his teeth and clawed at the old man in the ice layer. I love ebooks, poo. The dragon claw landed on the old man's head and quickly extinguished his life force. Cough. The distance was too close. Even with the protection of the praying mat, he still couldn't escape. His life force was gone. Phew, I almost died here. This praying mat is at least a peak Emperor God defensive treasure. Just its passive protection almost made me lose my life. Wang Xian looked at the praying mat below him with glistening eyes. The old man didn't even have time to react, but the praying mat he was sitting on had automatically defended him. If the old man had reacted and taken control of the praying mat, Wang Xian wouldn't have been able to kill him. As long as I kill one, the rest will be easy. He hesitated for a moment, and didn't keep the praying mat for fear of triggering some traps. With a swift move, Wang Xian flew towards his next target. The next target was at the other side of the town, disguised as an old man. Perhaps they didn't expect someone to know about their situation and attack them. Therefore, Wang Xian's assassination went rather smoothly this time. With his extreme speed, coupled with the concealment power of light and darkness, he could easily kill experts of the same level as him. Next, I don't have to worry too much. 2 Ninth Order God Emperor Realm experts from the Iceberg tribe were killed. From now on, there was nothing that could threaten him. He shuttled through the town like a ghost. The night was quiet, and the lives of experts from the Iceberg tribe were reaped at a rapid pace. In the end, close to 5,000 Fourth Order God Emperor Realm and above experts from the Iceberg tribe were all killed. Next, the Iceberg tribe. Wang Xian muttered to himself. He teleported and disappeared from the town. Based on his current understanding of the Iceberg tribe, he teleported to a very secretive place. The Iceberg tribe is located on that ice mountain. There are hundreds of thousands of Iceberg tribe members inside, and more than 10,000 God Emperors. The entire ice mountain has a strong defense, but I've figured out the way to enter after these few days. A smile appeared on Wang Xian's face as he flew towards the Iceberg tribe. Not good, something happened to the Iceberg tribe. Just as Wang Xian was flying in the direction of the icebound army, on the largest iceberg beside the icebound continent, one of the old men saw the spirit tablets in front of him shattering. His expression changed greatly as he stood up and shouted. He immediately relayed the news to the patriarch and other experts in the tribe. The Iceberg Tribe was one of the secret armies of the Iceberg Tribe. There were not many people in the entire army, but all of them were elites. They were one of the trump cards of the Iceberg Tribe to deter other tribes. Now that their spirit tablets had shattered, it meant that they had been killed. Swish, swish, swish. Soon, terrifying figures flew out of the iceberg and headed toward the frozen continent. Die. At this time, Wuxia, who had already entered the Iceberg Tribe, did not launch a sneak attack. Instead, he launched an all-out attack. Waves of horrifying destructive force instantly swept across the surroundings. At night, many experts from the Iceberg Tribe were resting or cultivating. As the destructive force swept across, they died instantly. Who? Not good, someone is attacking. The faces of the experts on the iceberg where the Ice Sealing Legion was located changed wildly, and they roared. Explode! Wuxia roared, and the entire ice mountain began to collapse. Only 8th Order God Emperor Realm experts and above could survive under his attack. Go! Chapter 3052. Who Killed Who 3-Inch Rumble? Within the territory of the iceberg race, the towering icebergs symbolized the power of the iceberg race. However, on that night, a towering iceberg suddenly collapsed. Everyone on the iceberg suffered a devastating blow. What happened? Oh no, someone attacked the iceberg army. Damn it, someone attacked us. Everyone stay alert. In the sky, more than a dozen experts of the iceberg race were flying towards the iceberg continent. When they saw the iceberg collapsing, their faces changed. Something happened to the iceberg army. Now the iceberg of the iceberg army had collapsed. There was definitely a strong opponent attacking them. Everyone on alert! Everyone on alert! The patriarch of the iceberg race roared coldly. His voice spread to the surrounding icebergs. What happened? The entire iceberg race was in an uproar. Everyone looked around in shock. Hong! Patriarch, protector, our iceberg army was attacked. The attack came from within. A large number of our experts and disciples were killed. Just at this moment, a few figures flew out from within the collapsed towering ice mountain and roared with embarrassed expressions. Damn it! The top powerhouses of the Ice Mountain race roared with unsightly expressions. There were many elite disciples in the iceberg army. Now most of them were killed. How could they enter the iceberg where our iceberg army is located? If they aren't disciples of our iceberg race, how could they enter? An expert roared in a low voice with an incomparably ugly expression. It wasn't that easy to break into their lair, their base camp. If one were to force their way in, even a peak Emperor God expert wouldn't be able to enter. How many disciples of the iceberg army died? The patriarch of the iceberg race asked with a bloody expression. Patriarch, at least 200,000 died. They were all elites of the iceberg army. The leader of the iceberg army said with a sullen face. Investigate. Find out who did it. I want him dead. The patriarch of the iceberg race roared furiously. A large number of disciples of the iceberg army were killed. The core experts of the iceberg army were killed. This time, the loss of the iceberg race was too great. Hee. At the same time, in Wuxia's room at Willow Deity Dojo, after he returned to the Dragon Palace, he asked Enlai to bring him over. This time around, his attack was very successful. There should be more than 10,000 God Emperor experts who had died in his hands. Especially when there were 2 9th Order God Emperor Realm experts, as well as the Iceberg Tribe's Secret Legion. Even the Ice Mountain race could not bear such a loss. Wuxia took out the Universe AI and opened the Willow Deity Dojo group. Ever since he joined the chat group, he hadn't spoken a single word. On the other hand, he had heard those Iceberg race fellows say that they wanted to take revenge and told him to wait. I'll kill your Ice Mountain race's tens of thousands of God Emperors and hundreds of thousands of soldiers first. If your Ice Mountain race wants to play, I'll play with you. Wuxia posted a message and specifically tagged Bingling Hongtu and another person called Yen Longyan. They were all disciples of the Iceberg Tribe. What's the situation? 10,000 Emperor gods and hundreds of thousands of soldiers. In the group chat of Willow Deity Dojo, Wuxia suddenly posted this message, shocking everyone in the group. Specifically mentioning Bingling and Hongtu Was this a declaration of war? And was what Wang Xian said true? At this moment, Bing Ling Hongtu and the rest were having a conversation with their people in the Willow Deity Dojo. Both of their expressions were extremely ugly. This was because they had just received news that their tribe had been attacked. This time, their iceberg tribe had suffered a huge loss. A secret legion had been annihilated, and the iceberg army had also suffered a huge loss. At this moment, when they saw Willow Deity Dojo suddenly mentioning them in the group chat, they were stunned and immediately opened it. When they saw the content, their faces changed and their eyes turned red. It's him. It's actually him. Wang Xian, it's you. You're the one who assassinated the experts of our iceberg tribe? You're the one who attacked our iceberg tribe? Bing Ling Hongtu's face changed drastically as he questioned in the group chat. What? The iceberg tribe had really been attacked by Wang Xian? At this moment, the rest of the Willow Deity Dojo disciples who were paying attention to the group chat were shocked when they saw Bing Ling Hongtu's question. Some of them immediately searched and found information about the collapse of a towering mountain peak of the iceberg tribe. That newcomer, that Wang Xian, had actually infiltrated the iceberg tribe and killed so many experts. One person against a domain-level tribe? This Wang Xian is really crazy. Some time ago, Bing Ling Hongtu and the rest said that the iceberg tribe had already sent experts to hunt Wang Xian down. In the end, Wang Xian killed so many experts from the iceberg tribe. And from the looks of it, the iceberg tribe has suffered a huge loss. Some of the Willow Deity Dojo disciples murmured, "And lie, bring me out." After sending a message in the Willow Deity Dojo group chat, Wang Xian ignored it and got En Lai to bring him out of this place. Soon, he appeared on the surface of the sea in the Milky Way. Continue to capture wild beasts. We can't let the iceberg tribe delay. If they still dare to come after us, we'll make them pay a greater price. Wang Xian murmured and got En Lai to return. Standing on the 5 elements grindstone, he released the heart deer from the mother nest and headed towards the depths of the Milky Way. This time, the hunting of the experts from the iceberg tribe had increased the resources of the Dragon Palace significantly. It wasn't a waste of time. Big Brother Wang, are those guys from the iceberg tribe coming after us? Standing on the 5 elements grindstone, the heart deer looked around and asked Wang Xian, "I'm not sure. Let's ignore them for now. A domain-level tribe isn't much of a threat." Wang Xian smiled and said, "Continue fishing." Alright. The heart deer was relieved after hearing Wang Xian's words. She smiled and sat at the side. As the 5 elements grindstone moved, Wang Xian started fishing and caught wild beasts one after another. At the same time, within the iceberg tribe, a group of experts stood in a hall and looked at a piece of news with gloomy faces. "It's that guy from Willow Deity Dojo. It's actually him. We've already sealed off the Willow Deity Dojo. We didn't see him coming out. What's going on?" The 2 powerhouses growled with gloomy faces. Among them, the protector of the Ice Mountain tribe with the giant sword in his hand said with a baleful expression, "It might really be that guy who did it. That guy has the strength of a 9th Order God Emperor, and his speed is comparable to a peak God Emperor. He has the strength to kill a 9th Order God Emperor. Based on the traces of this attack, there's a 90% chance that it's him." Chapter 3053. Who will kill who? 4-inch 9th Order God Emperor Realm Strength, Peak God Emperor Speed, and has the protection of Willow Deity Dao Ground. The experts from the Ice Mountain tribe had ugly expressions on their faces when they heard the information. An enemy like this was going to be troublesome. With the protection of Willow Deity Dao Ground, it was impossible for them to attack Willow Deity Dao Ground. The combat power of a 9th Order God Emperor, coupled with the speed of a Peak God Emperor, meant that they needed a Peak God Emperor to kill him. Previously, 3rd Protector, you forced him to use returning fallen leaves. In other words, if we can lock onto him, we have a high chance of killing him. The Patriarch of the Ice Mountain tribe sat at the side and asked, "Yes, but that guy killed 5 disciples of Willow Deity Dojo. I don't know if he still has any fallen leaves in his hands. Secondly, we have been monitoring Willow Deity Dojo during this period of time. but we didn't find him coming out. Moreover, this time he was able to assassinate the disciples of our Ice Soldier Corps and sneak into the iceberg of the Icebound Corps. The third protector said with a solemn expression. Hearing his words, the rest of the experts' faces changed. This was an extremely troublesome fellow. If it was an ordinary Ninth Order God Emperor realm expert, their Ice Mountain tribe was confident that they could kill him within a few months. But this fellow was a troublesome one. We must kill him. He must pay the price for killing us. A tall and sturdy old man next to him roared with a violent expression on his face. Kill. If we are intimidated by a Ninth Order God Emperor, we will not be able to survive. Everyone be on high alert. The leader of the Ice Mountain race roared with a sinister expression. Their Ice Mountain tribe had been through all sorts of trials and tribulations. It would be a joke if they were intimidated by a Ninth Order God Emperor. Since someone had killed their people, they would return the favor. But there's a problem. Master, you can't lock onto his position. We don't know where he is. The third protector said solemnly. Then find a stronger witchcraft to lock onto his position. The patriarch of the Ice Mountain tribe said. The rest of the experts nodded their heads in agreement. Boom! Boom! Within the Milky Way, Wang Xian stared at the wild beasts in the water with excitement in his eyes. Our harvest this time is not bad. 3/8 Order God Emperor realm experts. He said with a smile. This time, I can sell it for a good price. Many people are asking me what battle pets I have. The Mi Xan Lu said cheerfully. Wang Xian smiled and nodded his head. There's still 3 more months. I should be able to get a decent harvest. As he spoke, he immediately began to tame this batch of wild beasts. 3 months later, the battle pet ship of the Immortal Palace once again arrived at the sea in front of the Wangying continent. The ones from the Mist race and the One-Foot race bought all the battle pets. Brother Wang, the people who bought it this time are all from the Mist race and the One-Foot race. They must have sealed some information about us. Mi Xian Lu looked at the group of people from the 2 major races and said to Wang Xian, Don't worry, it doesn't matter who it is. Besides, they won't be able to seal it. Didn't an expert from a low-level race appear among the buyers this time? It won't be long before our battle pets become famous in the Milky Way. Wang Xian smiled nonchalantly. 90% of the buyers this time were from the Mist race and the One-Foot race. Clearly, they had used some tricks. But Wang Xian didn't mind. It was fine as long as he got the divine stones. The next sale will be in 4 months. Which force is this Immortal Palace battle pet ship from? How can they get so many battle pets? Moreover, these battle pets are obviously from the Milky Way. They might have captured and tamed them recently. Behind them, the experts of the Mist race and the One-Foot race watched the battle pet ship leave. Their eyes glistened. Mysterious. They are obviously not from the human race. Rumor has it that the top races in the universe can tame wild beasts quickly with their bloodline. Could the Immortal Palace battle pet ship be established by a disciple from a powerful race? A short old man from the One-Foot race said plainly. No matter what, we'd better not provoke such a mysterious force. One of the experts from the Mist race shook his head. He looked around and fixed his gaze on a middle-aged man. It seems like we can't hide the situation here for long. He murmured. Let's hide it for as long as we can. The expert from the One-Foot race replied, and the group left. In the universe, time continued to flow and days passed. After selling the battle pets this time, I should be able to improve my strength. On the surface of the sea in the Milky Way, Wang Xian looked at the wild beast he had just tamed with a smile. After about a year, he had finally gathered the resources to improve his strength. By the way, Xian Lu, I remember that the disciple from Willow Deity Dojo is about to arrive, right? Wang Xian looked at the Mei Xian Lu and asked. Yes, Brother Wang. There's still more than a month. The Mei Xian Lu nodded. I'll give you some dragon blood. Absorb it and refine your bloodline. You should be able to achieve a huge improvement. Wang Xian waved his arm and passed some dragon blood he had brought from the dragon transformation pool to the Mei Xian Lu. After absorbing it, it should be easy to pass the test from Willow Deity. Wang Xian added. After absorbing a large amount of dragon blood, The divine dragon bloodline in the Mei Xan Lu's body was comparable to an ordinary dragon. With the aptitude of an ordinary dragon and the temperament of the Mei Xan Lu, it shouldn't be a problem for her to enter Willow Deity Dojo. Thank you, Brother Wang. The Mei Xan deer received the dragon blood excitedly. It looked at the dragon blood excitedly and immediately started to absorb it. Just one more time, and it should be enough. Wang Xian muttered. The dragon blood condensed into a dragonfish, and he threw the fishing rod forward. Ah! I finally met a 9th Order God Emperor Realm aquatic wild beast. If I met it earlier, I would have gathered all the resources I needed to improve my strength. Very soon, a 9th Order God Emperor Realm aquatic wild beast appeared under Wang Xian's senses and chased after the dragonfish. Wang Xian was pleasantly surprised when he saw the wild beast. This was the first 9th Order God Emperor Realm wild beast he had met since he came to the Milky Way. He immediately pulled the fishing rod and controlled the dragonfish to fly towards him. Whoosh! When the 9th Order God Emperor Realm wild beast was about 100 million kilometers away from him, Wang Xian did not hesitate. The unbeginning sacred wings appeared behind his back, and he attacked the wild beast. 8 Desolation Dragon Eyes. 5 Elements Dragon Claw. In an instant, Wang Xian unleashed all his strength. Chapter 3054. Rise to Fame. Roar. 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 That 9th Order God Emperor Realm Desolate Beast was no match for Wang Xian in a one-on-one battle. Huge injuries appeared on its body. Under the relentless barrage of blows, Zhang Xian even used his dragon might and soul assimilation art. It took him more than half an hour before he managed to suppress it completely. Wang Xian heaved a sigh of relief as he looked at the heavily injured desolate beast. Wang Xian heaved a sigh of relief as he looked at the heavily injured desolate beast. If he had not used his soul-devouring power at the end, he might not have been able to tame it. In order to tame a 9th Order God Emperor Realm Desolate Beast, one had to at least possess the strength of a peak God Emperor Realm, or even a universe venerable. Buzz! At this time, a faint roar of dragon might came from the side. Wang Xian looked over and saw the Mei Xan deer, who was sitting cross-legged on the 5 Elements Great Grindstone, transforming into her true form. Crystal-like dragon scales grew on her body. Brother Wang, I broke through. I broke through to the 6th Order God Emperor Realm. The Mei Xan deer opened her eyes and exclaimed excitedly as she felt the energy flowing through her body. Wang Xian nodded with a smile. Get used to it. I'll inform you later that we will be selling a 9th Order God Emperor Realm battle pet. Wow, Brother Wang, you captured a 9th Order God Emperor Realm Desolate Beast? That's amazing. The Mei Xan deer looked at him with admiration. She transformed into her human form and happily used the AI to record some videos. Wang Xian smiled and started taming the 9th Order God Emperor Realm Desolate Beast. What? There's a 9th Order God Emperor Realm battle pet this time. Wow, so powerful. A 9th Order God Emperor Realm battle pet. Even the patriarchs of domain-level races only have such mounts. The Immortal Palace's battle pet is really strong. Will they get a peak God Emperor Realm battle pet in the future? On the Universe AI, Mei Xan Lu had created a separate group. When she sent out this message, it instantly attracted the attention of countless people in the group. All of them looked at the photos in shock. Wow, there will be a sale in an hour. First come, first served. This will definitely belong to us, Red Mist. Red Mist race. You deliberately imprisoned our disciples to prevent them from divulging this matter. We haven't settled the score with you yet. Things are different now. The Red Mist race and the 1-foot race blocked the news several times, and most of the battle pets fell into your hands. Now, the Palace of Immortals battle pets have become famous. It's impossible for you to get a large number of battle pets. The Immortal Palace's battle pets are really powerful. Under normal circumstances, even a universe supremacy would find it difficult to tame such a powerful desolate beast. Does the Immortal Palace's battle pets have a universe supremacy level beast tamer? There was a lot of discussion going on in the group. The number of people in the group had increased by hundreds of millions. In the next few months, more and more people knew that the battle pets of the Immortal Palace were selling a large number of battle pets. Every time the heart deer was put up for sale, there would be a post. The more people followed the post, the more popular it would be. Naturally, more and more people would know about it. Currently, not everyone in the Milky Way didn't know about the Palace of Immortals battle pets, but all the major races were paying attention to it. After all, Emperor God Realm battle pets were very popular in the Milky Way, not to mention 7th or 8th Order Emperor God Realm battle pets. If an 8th Order Emperor God Realm expert could have a battle pet of the same level, his combat power would be doubled. Big Brother Wuxia, tens of millions of people are fighting over this 9th Order Emperor God Realm battle pet. It's amazing. An hour later, Heart Deer looked at the data on the platform and said with a smile, "Not many forces can afford a 9th Order Emperor God Realm battle pet. They must have sent their disciples to fight for it." Wuxia said faintly, slowly taming it. Now that the Palace of Immortals battle pets had made a name for themselves, with the strength of the major forces in the Milky Way, he could increase his strength to the Universe Supremacy Realm by selling his battle pets. Once he reached the Universe Supremacy Realm, it would be much easier to upgrade the Dragon Palace. Time passed day by day, and the date of the third sale was gradually approaching. Before the Palace of Immortals battle pet ship neared the Silver Wang continent, Wuxia and the rest saw thousands of people waiting on the surface of the sea. Among them were many 8th or 9th Order God Realm experts, and there were even 5 to 6 peak Emperor God Realm experts. People from various low-level races stood there, forming an incomparably powerful aura. Around them, some people were surprised and curious when they saw the experts from various races, and started discussing among themselves. "They're here." Seeing the arrival of the Palace of Immortals battle pet ship, everyone smiled. "Those who are qualified to purchase, please board the ship. Those who are not qualified, please wait outside." Heart Deer stood on the deck and said to the crowd, "We know the rules." The group of experts nodded and flew towards the Palace of Immortals battle pet ship. Half an hour later, all the battle pets were sold, and Wuxia once again gained a large number of divine stones. It's about time. The ship sailed to a deserted place. Wuxia kept it and flew towards the Silver Wang continent with Heart Deer. The Silver Wang continent was the largest continent in the Milky Way, and also the largest trading market in the Milky Way. There were all kinds of treasures that could be purchased there. In fact, the auction house here had auctioned off treasures of the Universe Supremacy level. Now Wuxia needed to use the large number of divine stones he had to purchase elixir pills. Wuxia successfully exchanged all his divine stones for elixir pills at a few well-known elixir pill shops in the Silver Wang continent. "It's enough for me to improve myself." Looking at the elixir pills in the space ring, he was extremely excited. After consuming all these elixir pills, he would have the battle strength of a peak Emperor God. As long as the supremacy of the universe did not appear, he would be invincible. Wuxia would even dare to fight a peak stage God Emperor sorcerer. "Come, let's go back," Wuxia said to Heart Deer, and flew towards the Willow Deity Dojo with him. He wanted to break through in the Willow Deity Dojo. Finally found it. Ha ha ha. It's all thanks to the divination wizard this time. I'm impressed by the divination wizard's strength. This divine projection mirror is really powerful. At this moment, above the Milky Way in front of the Silver Wang continent, an old man in a white robe floated in the air. He held a mirror in his hand, and 2 figures were reflected in the mirror. Beside him, Master Yu and the 4 experts from the Ice Mountain race stood on both sides. Looking at the scene in the mirror, his face was filled with excitement and murderous intent. Chapter 3055. Ambush and Breakthrough. You have the aura of the girl beside him. Naturally, you will be able to locate him. This is just a small trick. He will be here in a minute. Above the Milky Way, the old man known as the Calculation Wizard said plainly. He did not take their compliments to heart. If not for the Calculation Wizard's reminder, we would not have thought of it. That young man should have an item to conceal his aura. Master Yu said with a smile. This time, It's all thanks to the calculation wizard. Let's get ready. We must take his head this time. How dare he kill someone from the iceberg race? He must pay with his life. The three guardians of the giant sword said gloomily. Don't worry. Even if he is a peak emperor god expert, we can still kill him in one strike. The few old men beside him replied confidently. This time, their ice mountain race had sent out 4 peak emperor god experts. They had also used their race's supreme treasure. Be careful. It's best not to let him react. That guy might still have falling leaf homecoming. The 3 guardians of the giant sword reminded. The others nodded in agreement. Falling leaf homecoming? Even if I set up a formation, I can't seal off Willow Deity's item. Unless we kill him instantly, and don't give him a chance to react. The calculation wizard raised his eyebrows and said. The few from the iceberg race nodded. Soon, the few of them hid in the ocean below. In front of them, Wuxia was in a good mood, as he flew towards Willow Deity Dojo with the heart deer. His speed was fast. Although he did not unleash it to the maximum, it was still comparable to the flying speed of an ordinary peak emperor god expert. Wang, however, when he was speeding on the surface of the ocean, he suddenly felt a little dazed. Following which, a terrifying sense of danger shrouded his heart. Oh no, there's an ambush! He was shocked. Suddenly, a surge of life force came from his heart and cleared his mind. Sensing the threat of death, cold sweat instantly appeared on his forehead. A willow leaf appeared in his hand. Wuxia looked to the side and forcefully kept the heart deer into the mother nest. Boom boom boom. The next moment, a terrifying attack landed in front of him. The willow leaf gave off a ray of light and shrouded him. When the attack landed on the returning path of the fallen leaf, Wuxia saw a crack on the returning path of the fallen leaf. However, the fatal attack was blocked, and his figure disappeared. Damn it, how can his reaction be so fast? Below him, the 4 experts from the iceberg tribe and the calculation sorcerer flew up. When they saw Wuxia disappearing, their faces turned exceptionally grim. I have laid down a great array here that can intimidate one's mind. Even a peak stage god emperor expert would be dazed for a moment. To think that he actually became clear-headed in an instant. The divination wizard frowned slightly and said with a face full of surprise. Did that guy keep the fallen leaf in his hand all this time? He actually activated it in an instant. It actually failed. The 4 peak stage god emperors from the icy mountain race had ugly expressions. He probably doesn't have any more fallen leaves in his hands. I should be able to kill him next time. The 3 great sword protectors said with a gloomy face. Fallen leaf had saved that guy's life twice on the way back. I'm just afraid that he will continue to hide in the Willow Deity Dao field and not come out. This time, he suffered a loss again, so he might take revenge on our ice mountain race. If he enters the territory of our ice mountain race again, then, one of the experts from the ice mountain race had a change of expression. Not only was that guy tough, but he also had some strange tricks up his sleeves. Even with their people monitoring the Willow Deity Dao field, that guy could still sneak out without anyone noticing. I intercepted his aura just now. The Willow Deity Dao field can shield my divine developing mirror. But as long as he comes out, I will be able to lock onto him. At this time, the calculation sorcerer said plainly, Sorcerer Calculation, you have a backup plan? The 4 experts from the ice mountain race were overjoyed as they quickly asked. When you guys said that he had the fallen leaf in his hands, I already made preparations. Don't worry, as long as he comes out of the Willow Deity Dao field, the divine developing mirror will be able to lock onto him. Unless his aura concealing treasure is much stronger than my divine developing mirror. But just now, I didn't sense any treasure of that level on him. The calculation sorcerer said confidently. If that's the case, that's great. With you around, I don't believe that guy still has the fallen leaf in his hands. When the 4 experts from the ice mountain race heard his words, their expressions softened a little. Although they had let him escape this time, he had also used up a fallen leaf. They really didn't believe that he still had the fallen leaf. As long as he appeared again, it would be the time of his death. The eyes of the 4 of them were filled with ferocity. Damn it, I almost died just now. At this time, In the Willow Deity Dao field, Wang Xian looked a little embarrassed. Just now he felt his mind was in a mess. Coupled with the fatal attack, with his reaction speed, he would definitely have died. He couldn't even react in time. However, the progenitor tree at the location of his heart trembled gently, allowing him to regain his consciousness. Moreover, the progenitor tree controlled the fallen leaf to fly out of the nest and activate it automatically. If it wasn't for the progenitor tree, Wang Xian wouldn't have survived that terrifying ambush. It must be the people from the Ice Mountain race. They are my only enemy here. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that I would almost die in their hands? Wang Xian mumbled to himself as his eyes were filled with ferocity. This time, he was really close. It's all thanks to the progenitor tree. It seems like the progenitor tree is gradually gaining sentience and is able to protect its owner. He mumbled to himself as he placed the heart deer in the periphery and walked towards his house. The heart deer was curious and wanted to ask something. However, when she saw Wang Xian's expression, she didn't probe further. I'll increase my strength first. After that, I'll wipe out the Ice Mountain race. When he returned to his room, Wang Xian's eyes were shining and his heart was filled with murderous intent. Not only did his previous attack not cause the other party to fear him, it even intensified. In that instant of attack, there were at least 4 to 5 peak God Emperor experts. Since that was the case, there could only be one between him and the Ice Mountain race. Wang Xian squinted his eyes as he took out all the elixir pills he had bought and poured them into his mouth. The elixir pills turned into dragon energy and increased rapidly. Ding! Congratulations to host for leveling up to 4th Order God Emperor. Ding! Congratulations to host for comprehending nomological superpower. 8 Brilliance Dragon Scale. When 90% of the elixir pills were consumed, the system's voice sounded. Level up! Rays of light radiated from his body, and dragon scales appeared on the surface of his skin. The dragon scales shone with 8 rays of light and looked extremely mystical. The shadow of a divine dragon circled around him. A powerful aura was emitted from his body. Wang Xian opened his eyes and revealed a smile. Finally, he had broken through. He was just one step away from becoming a universe supremacy. Chapter 3056. New Disciples of Willow Deity Dojo. Upper name: Wang Xian race, Yin Yang 5 Elements Dragon, 1 with the dragon rank, 4th Order Void God Emperor, Divine Dragon Transformation 8th Transformation, Origin, 1%, 99% required for the next breakthrough, Magic. Dominate the aquatic creatures. Dominate any aquatic creatures lower than your own level. Devour living things. Devour living things to extract the source. Control of the 5 elements cultivation technique, Divine Dragon. Transformation divine powers. Soul capture, spirit attachment nomological divine abilities. Dragon Eye Lock, 5 elements Dragon Claw, Yin Yang World Destroyer, 8 Glory Dragon Scale. Dharma Form, 5 elements Grindstone, Dragon Country in the Palm, Dragon Head Descending, 10,000 Mile Dragon Body, Yin Yang Polarity, Yin Yang 5 Elemental Bowl, Divine Dragon Tail Whip. Law of Mastery, Metal, Wood, Water, Fire, Earth, Light, Dark Wind Divine Kingdom, Dragon Palace. Own Dragon Palace. Level 9 Dragon Palace members. 10344450. Looking at his own attributes, Wang Xian revealed a smile. He slowly opened his palm, and layers of dragon scales covered it. The dragon scales emitted an 8-colored radiance. With a thought, the color of the dragon scales immediately changed. The 8 Luminosity Dragon Scale was the nomological superpower that Wang Xian had obtained from his breakthrough. This nomological mystique was extremely useful to Wang Xian now. First of all, this was a defensive type nomological mystical ability that could greatly enhance one's defense. Secondly, the 8 Luminosity Dragon Scale could freely change its attributes. In other words, Wang Xian could change his aura at will in the future. In fact, when the 8 elements were mixed together, his aura would become extremely chaotic. One of the benefits of this was that he could escape the lock-on of wizards. The lock-on and curse of a sorcerer were useless against Wang Xian. This was because the target and the curse needed to have his aura and the items on his body. Now that his aura had changed, it was impossible to lock onto him. Moreover, even if the other party had something from Wang Xian, they wouldn't be able to cast a curse on him. This could also be called invulnerability. With this power of law, I won't be targeted by the sorcerer. However, according to the heavenly formation, I should not have been targeted so accurately by the sorcerer. Could it be that the sorcerer has an acquired treasure that can lock onto me? Or could it be that the heart deer has locked onto me? Wang Xian guessed the two possibilities and squinted his eyes. Next, it's time to call Orochi and the others over. He narrowed his eyes slightly. Wang Xian would definitely not let off a force that had tried to kill him several times. It was a fight to the death. Now that his power had reached the peak of Emperor God, he might not be invincible below the universe paragons, but there were probably not many in the entire universe who were stronger than him in this realm. His speed was comparable to a universe first-level paragon. He could instantly kill a peak-stage God Emperor expert in a one-on-one battle. Now that he had the strength, he would naturally make the iceberg race pay the price. In a flash, he arrived at the place where the Mi Xian deer lived. Brother Wang, Mi Xian Lu was cultivating. When she saw Wang Xian, she smiled and shouted. I'll use the room upstairs, he said. You go cultivate, and try to get into the Willow Deity Taoist Right Temple Disciple recruitment. Wang Xian smiled and instructed her, after which he went to the upper floor. This time, because there might be more people coming, in order to prevent the venerable Willow Deity from sensing him, he came to the periphery of the Willow Deity Dojo alone. After setting up a Devil Soul altar, Dark Blaze, Yamada no Demon Fiend, and the other two quickly walked out of the altar. Greetings, Dragon King. The three of them bowed respectfully. How's the situation at Dragon Palace? Wang Xian asked. Dragon King, don't worry with us around. We've assassinated many people from the Red Mist race. They're holed up in their planet, and don't dare to come out. None of them dares to provoke us now. Yamada no Demon Fiend chuckled. That's good. This time, I'll give you guys a mission. Enter the iceberg race through parasitism, and try to obtain as much information as possible. I'm going to make a move on them. Wang Xian said coldly. Dragon King, you've made a breakthrough? Dark Blaze asked in surprise. Wang Xian nodded. Dark Blaze, you know where the iceberg race is. Bring Yamada no Demon Fiend and the rest over. Be careful, they have many peak stage God Emperor experts. Rest assured, Dragon King. Leave it to us. Yamada no Demon Fiend, and the other two said confidently. Wang Xian nodded. The two Ninth Order God Emperors he killed in the iceberg previously were used to increase the strength of Yamada no Demon Fiend and Yamada no Demon Fiend. Both of them possessed the combat strength of a Ninth Order God Emperor. Wait here, I'll head over first. Dark Blaze moved and disappeared in an instant. Before long, he returned and left with Yamada no Demon Fiend and the rest. It's best if I can get rid of the iceberg race within 2 months. Wang Xian murmured. There are so many people outside. At this time, he saw a large number of ships and sailboats gathered outside the Willow Deity Dojo. There were also a few floating islands that were larger than the Willow Deity Dojo. Is the Willow Deity Dojo recruiting disciples? Wang Xian looked around and saw countless young and middle-aged men gathering. Every 1,000 years, the Willow Deity Dojo would recruit disciples. To many young and middle-aged men in the Milky Way, this was a grand event. If they joined the Willow Deity Dojo, they could reach the 8th Order God Emperor realm at the very least. This was one of the reasons. Secondly, they could get to know more experts. They could even join any race they wanted. Moreover, they would be nurtured as the core disciple. There were many benefits to joining the Willow Deity Dojo. This resulted in the recruitment every 1,000 years. Countless people would come. Powerful forces would also bring their disciples over. Wang Xian opened up the Willow Deity Dojo's group chat and found many people discussing this matter. Last time when Willow Deity Dojo recruited disciples, no one succeeded. He wondered if there would be anyone this time. Days passed. Wang Xian did not take any action during this period. He was waiting for news from Yamada no Demon Fiend. In a short span of 10 days, They had parasitized a ninth-order God Emperor realm expert from the iceberg race and obtained a large amount of information. Ninth-order God Emperor realm experts were considered to be part of the upper echelons of the iceberg race. Now the two of them were preparing to parasitize the grandson of the current patriarch to see if they could obtain more core information. While Wang Xian was waiting, the Willow Deity Dojo became livelier. Not only hundreds of millions of people gathered on the surface of the sea, there were also many Willow Deity Dojo disciples inside. When Wang Xian arrived at the Willow Deity Dojo, he only met 2,000 to 3,000 disciples. He had not seen most of them before. Recently, many disciples had returned. Clearly, they were here to watch the show. There were also disciples from various races in the Willow Deity Dojo. They were here to welcome their clansmen and disciples participating in the recruitment. Chapter 3057. Brother Wang Xian, I'm going to take part in the entrance assessment of Willow Deity Dojo. Time passed day by day. Mi Xi and Lu sent a message to Yi Shiwen. Oh. Wang Xian raised an eyebrow when he saw the message. Try to get into Willow Deity Dojo. Don't follow me for the time being. I still have some matters to settle. You can communicate with the others in Willow Deity Dojo about your cultivation. Don't join other races after you enter Willow Deity Dojo. When you choose the treasures of Willow Deity, choose the fallen leaf path. Wang Xian guessed that the other party might have locked on to Mi Xi and Lu during the previous ambush. Hence, he decided not to bring Mi Xi and Lu along before eliminating the Ice Mountain race. Moreover, once he joined Willow Deity Dojo, he would be much safer. Alright, Brother Wang. Mi Xi and Lu nodded her head after receiving Wang Xian's reply. She looked outside and flew over. At the same time, Wang Xian hesitated for a moment before leaving the room and flying towards the exit of Willow Deity Dojo. Below the exit, hundreds of disciples of Willow Deity Dojo were standing in front. They either crossed their arms or sat there, smiling as they looked ahead. There were also many gathered together and chatting. In front of Willow Deity Dojo, there were about 50 to 60 million young and middle-aged men. All of them looked nervous. Around them, there were countless experts hovering in the air. These were the battleships, airships, and floating islands of the universe's primary races and domain-level races. To join Willow Deity Dojo, one had to be at least a God Emperor. There was no age limit. In other words, the 50 to 60 million members were all God Emperors. Their strength ranged from 1st Order God Emperor to 8th or 9th Order God Emperor. Wang Xian walked to the side, leaned on a willow branch, and watched calmly. Wang. At this moment, the willow branches in the center of Willow Deity Dojo formed a blurry human figure. A green light shrouded the 50 to 60 million people. Seeing this light, everyone was slightly nervous. The assessment had begun. Swish, swish, swish. Soon, about 10,000 people were shrouded by the green light and pulled to the front. Swish, swish, swish. Thousands of willow branches formed a dark path, pulling the 10,000 people into the depths of the path and disappearing rapidly. Sigh, they were eliminated again. Only 10,000 people passed the first round. Ha ha ha. There are more than 10 people in our clan who have passed the first round of examination. I hope that one of them will be able to enter the Willow Deity Dojo. A disappointed and excited voice came from the front. Out of more than 50 to 60 million people, only a little more than 10,000 passed the first round. Some people were happy while others were sad. Wang Xian looked over and saw that the heart deer had passed the first round. According to his evaluation of the Mi Xi and deer, entering the Willow Deity Dojo should be a piece of cake. After all, after Wang Xian's enhancement, her bloodline was considered very pure. It would be easy for her to cultivate to the universe supremacy level in the future. If he couldn't enter again, then it wouldn't be right. There was a commotion in front of him. As Wang Xian swept his gaze across, the names of some races popped up in his mind. In this part of the Milky Way, there were more than 10 primary races in the universe. He saw a race with a skull flag and narrowed his eyes slightly. The Skeleton Clan was also the clan that had annihilated the Emohan clan. Time slowly passed. From time to time, People would emerge from the path formed by the willow branches, shaking their heads in disappointment. More and more people came out, and the people in front of the willow deity Dao ground were not too surprised. Previously, no one entered the willow deity Dao ground. 2 hours later, most of the people had come out. At this time, the path formed by the willow branches disappeared. 6 willow branches carried 6 people and floated in the air. There are actually 6 people who passed the assessment this time? Wow, there are so many people joining this time. There are 6 in one go. The disciples of the willow deity Dao ground looked over and revealed a surprised look. There are actually 6 people joining this time. That's rare. At the front, everyone looked at the 6 people on the willow branches with envy. Wuxia looked at a figure and revealed a smile. Buzz buzz. At this time, his universe AI vibrated. Wuxia squinted his eyes when he saw the information on it. He immediately flew out. Junior brothers and sisters, welcome to the willow deity Dao ground. After the 6 new members of the willow deity Dao ground chose their treasures, the group walked towards them. There were more than 5,000 people. This time, almost half of the disciples of the willow deity Dao ground had come. Haha, greetings to everyone. I am Long Zitian. Among the 6, a young man with a horn on his head and a long sword in his hand looked at the disciples of willow deity dojo in front of him, and the corners of his mouth curled up slightly. Ha, young Master Long, congratulations. I told you, with your talent, young Master Long, you will definitely be able to enter the willow deity Taoist rite. As soon as he finished speaking, more than 20 middle-aged men in the willow deity Taoist field quickened their footsteps and walked over with respectful expressions. When the crowd heard their words, they were shocked. Long Zitian of the dragon descendant race. He's a genius of the dragon descendant race with a powerful bloodline. I've heard that when he explodes out with power, he's able to fight above his level. It's actually him. Why did he join our willow deity dojo? When some people heard this name, a look of surprise appeared on their faces. The dragon descendant universe race was one of the stronger races in the Milky Way. Long Zitian was even the pillar of the current generation of the dragon bloodline race. His bloodline had returned to its ancestral state, and he had the strength to fight above his level. It was rumored that he had a 100% chance of breaking through to the universe venerable realm. So it's young Master Long Zitian. Nice to meet you. Many disciples of the willow deity dojo immediately cupped their hands in greeting. They didn't have the slightest attitude of a senior brother or sister. Even they had to assess such a pillar of the race, even if the other party had just joined the willow deity dojo. Everyone, today, the dragon descendant race will be treating you to Yuhai Tavern. The experts of the dragon descendant race smiled and said, Haha, thank you, senior brothers. The crowd laughed and said, junior sister, are you with Wuxia? I didn't expect you to join the willow deity dojo too. At this time, someone at the side felt that Xi and Lu looked familiar and asked. Some disciples of the willow deity dojo looked at Xi and Lu with doubt in their eyes. Yes, big brother Wang brought me here. Xi and Lu smiled and nodded, hearing her acknowledgement. Some people's eyes flickered as they looked at Bing Ling and Hong Tu. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.